Good morning. This video is that the world is a playground. It's an important video. Put on your mystical, spiritual, psychedelic hat for this video because it's a psychedelic. It's a psychedelic realization. It's something that you'll see when you're tripping balls. It's a vision that I have, when I'm tripping. But it's a vision more so than that. It's a vision that I have when I see a lot of people out there playing in nature. I was driving down the road last week and I passed Redwood National Forest, and there's this river going through the woods, and I saw like all these people in these rubber kayaks going down them, and I looked down one river gorge and I saw a whole bunch of people just going down the river, and the river looked totally different to me with a lot of people going down it in their kayaks than it would look if I was just to look at it in its nature by itself with no kayaks on it, or like with one kayak on it. When I look at the river or a big like El Capitan covered with 100 climbers, or a mountain bike trail on the side of a mountain with just 1,000 people on it, all of a sudden nature doesn't seem like this atheistic, accidental cause and effect chain of like geological events that just kind of fell into place, and the nature and the whole pecking order of nature and animals and everything. It doesn't seem like dog eat dog kind of a world. It all of a sudden it looks like it's like everything about nature is here for us, for humans, and for the animals, because you see the dogs running down and they've got smiles on their faces, and even the otters and the animals, and even your single cell organisms, your red blood cells passing through your eyelids have got big old smiles on their faces, and they're like, yay, that's what the universe is all about. It's a bunch of beings just living life and laughing. The song, there's a vibration in the universe, a sound that holds everything together, a hyperdimensional. That's kind of what light is. It's just another it's a higher, finer manifestation of sound, but it's a laugh. Basically, it would be a really good, the best description of it is it's this big, long, eternally lasting giggle. Terence McKenna called it the cosmic giggle because he was tripping, and when you're tripping and you look, you realize that all the beings, even the animals, even the birds and the chipmunks and stuff, because a lot of people, like atheistic scientists who just study the habits of animals, they think that everything an animal does is just for survival, and so they put this face on the animal like it's oh my god, I'm gonna die if I don't get this nut. And it's really not like that. Animals have pretty easy lives, except for when they're starving, when they're like dying out. But most of the time animals are just play around just like humans do. The squirrel grabs his nut, he cleans it off, he carries it up the tree. I mean, he's having fun doing what he's doing. If you were to look at his face, he'd be like like a dog. Animals, not just the house cat and the house dog are the ones going, yay, wee. Animals are too. And everything is. Trees and everything. Humans only get like grumpy because when they decide not to believe any of that, and they decide to, I guess, be an atheist. That's a really good way to describe it. Think that it's just all this whole like dog eat dog world. But when I see all those people out there on the floating down the river together, I look at the river as though it's this vision from, you know, everybody, vision from God, a vision from everybody's mind of, let's make a cool, pretty river so that we can float a boat down it. Like the end game, basically, the end game for everything, for God, the end game for all the animals and humans. And when you die and you go into Bardo, what you envision why you want to come back to Earth, the end game is so that you can basically ride a kayak down the river and ride a mountain bike down the mountainside and climb up a rock and have a picnic on the side of them on the field, play baseball in the field. That's the end. That when you do that, then we're in heaven. That's heaven. Rivers are designed basically for kayaks to go down, basically. Like when I saw that river, I was going, oh my God, that's why the river's there. The world is a playground. That's what the main purpose of the world is a playground. And because a lot of times these days, or still, not like it wasn't always like that before. Well, actually, I think it wasn't always like that before, but yeah, especially these days, people are really, you know, litigious and really over safety conscious when they really shouldn't be. Trying to tell you, oh, don't do that sport because you'll die, you know. When they don't realize that death is knocking on our door all day, every day. You're driving down the road and the bus is coming, and if you do this with your steering wheel right before it comes, you're dead. You know, if you do that on the wrong part of the side of a mountain road, you're dead. You know, if you shoot yourself in the head with your gun, you're dead. There's all kinds of ways you can die. If you jump off the top of your roof house, you know, diving, you're dead. But we don't die because we choose not to. And it's the same thing for climbing Mount Everest or climbing a mountain. You just go up there with the materials you know that you need to survive, and then you don't die. I mean, the only reason people die up on mountains is because they stop hiking down and they just sit down and they die. Maybe they committed suicide or something. I don't know. But so yeah, the world is a playground. One thing that comes to mind, and maybe I'll even attach the link, because I attached a link to a forum, to a thread yesterday about me, because there's this other thread that I started. I was asking these like sea kayakers what they thought about a kayak trip around the Caribbean that I was going to do with my friend, but then he backed out on me right before we were going to go. And there was all these sea kayakers, and it was actually, they didn't know what the hell they were talking about. I was asking the wrong people, and there's really nobody to ask. You just do it, because nobody's done that before. But they were like, no way, you'll die. But none of these people had ever actually done anything like that. They like kayak up and down their coast like 2 miles or something. And some dude's like, don't even think about doing that trip unless you've kayaked at least 40 miles in one day. And I was like, that's funny, dude. Like 40 miles, that's nothing. I don't, you know. I freaking canoed 300-pound canoes 60 miles in one day all by myself. You know. Consecutively. So, yeah, people are way too freaked out about that kind of stuff. I mean, back in the days of Christopher Columbus, he was in this big boat, and he was going to try to get across the Panama to go all the way to China. But all the algae ate away at his boat, so his boat was sinking. So he had to get the hell out of there, because it was like in the equator, and they didn't design their boats to be able to deal with algae that eats boats. So he got the hell out of there, and then his boat practically sank. But he made it all the way to, like, I think it was like modern day Cuba. And the home base for the Spanish was in like Jamaica or something. It was like it was 80 miles away, okay? Some island 80 miles away. And so Christopher Columbus didn't go because they hated him, so they just made him stay with the Indians who wanted to kill him. But then he predicted a an eclipse. And so they were like, oh my God, okay, he does have magical powers. But anyways, Christopher Columbus's guys got in a dinghy and fucking rowed 80 miles across the ocean back to home base like it was nothing. Well, of course their lives depended on it. It's the only way back there. But they did it, and they made it. You know, and nowadays we've got like... And those people probably weren't even that... Well, I'm sure they were crazy fit and strong, but they weren't really well fed. They didn't grow up well fed. They weren't big, buff people, probably. You know, nowadays we've got like way better boats. You know, like me, I was like, no, but I've got 2 GPSs. Each guy's got a GPS. Well, actually, each guy's got a GPS, and then we've got the really good GPS. And then each guy's got the iPerb. You know, you pull the thing and they come and get you. You know, you got a boat that doesn't sink with pontoons on either side. Like a week's worth of water, a week's worth of food. Like, what the fuck is dangerous about that? Compare that to, like, the dudes in the past, you know? You guys are, like, way too paranoid. It's not dangerous at all, kayaking around. So anyways, I had this vision of... I guess I'll put the link to my kayak page. I had this vision of kayaking around the Caribbean, where you kayak from Miami to Bimini to Nassau or Bimini to Andros to Nassau, down the Exumas, which is like a mile between the islands, along like sandy sea that's only 10 feet deep the whole way, down to like the Turks and Caicos, and then like 80 miles down to Haiti, or not Haiti, but Dominican Republic, across there over to some other island, and then Puerto Rico, across Puerto Rico, over the Virgin Islands, and to the, then at like 80 or 90 miles over to Anguilla, down the Eastern Antilles. And it's like 30, 50 miles between the islands, you know, it's like bike touring only on a kayak. Over to Trinidad, and across South America, up Panama, across to or the Yucatan, I guess, across to, and then of course check out Ibiza or Aruba and stuff, across to the Cayman Islands and Jamaica and around Cuba and back to Key West. You know, the big loop-de-doop-de. And I even made a really good like website about it, because I had this vision of like, of that kayak trip, of that route being like the Inca Trail. If you go to the Inca Trail, it's packed with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people. It's like, but you don't have to like wait for people, so it's not annoying where you have to wait in line and stuff. But when I saw that, I saw something that was beautiful. The Inca Trail was beautiful with all those people. The Annapurna Circuit's beautiful with all those people. Every time you step, you know, on the Inca Trail, you stop on the campgrounds, and people are partying. They're not drinking, but they're partying. They're hanging out. On the Annapurna Trail, you stop at these hotels up on the side of the mountain, way in the middle of nowhere, and you're drinking and you're drinking alcohol and partying and having fun, and then you get on the trail and you hike. It's mixing exercise with adventure, with mixing cultures and seeing nature and animals, you know, so learning about science and geography, and you're getting exercise the whole time. And that's what the world is. It's this giant playground, and especially the more people that are out there, the safer that it is. Anyways, if you go out there and you, for some reason, you forgot to bring your water and you run out of water, well, the dude behind you is going to have some extra and he'll give you some, and then the dude behind him will give you some. And like I rode my bike across the Bolivian Altiplano on a tandem mountain bike with this German dude and this Swiss dude on his mountain bike, and for 11 days, and there was no water up there or anything, but we didn't care, because there was all these tour Land Rovers driving by, and we were like, hey, you got any extra water? So they give us their water and their food. And that's how it is. You're out there, and it's kind of like bringing civilization out there. Of course, you don't need them to survive unless you're stupid and you don't bring enough. But the point of my video is that that's what we should look at the world. I mean, we should even look at the kayak trip I'm talking about as like a future. Now I know you're gonna have to put on your psychedelic hat and your mystical, spiritual look into the future, like take away barriers hat for this one, because it's kind of out there, but it's totally freaking realistic, and I'll explain why it's realistic. But in the future, my kayak trip, the route of my kayak trip, will be like the Inca Trail. It'll be something that normal people will do. And it'll be loaded with people. Like the kayak trip from the first leg from Miami to Bimini, or rather 50 miles south of Miami to Bimini, because the Gulf Stream goes north at about 5 miles an hour, so you have to start about 50 miles south, even though Bimini is directly east, and then point the boat 45 degrees south. Somebody might be like, oh my god, that's hardcore, there's no way. It's like flying to the moon. You just put in the calculations and you do it. You don't, just because it's a little bit complicated, you have to start 50 miles south, doesn't make it freaking like dangerous and impossible. You just do it. And in the future, that leg, it'll be people all over. You'll see, like, it'll be like a big bike tour, ride the Rockies, and cross biking, hundreds of people riding across the Rockies in Colorado. It'll be like you're kayaking and you'll see a whole bunch of dots up there, and they're kayakers doing the ultimate kayak trip. Because you can only do it in a certain window of time, because hurricanes come, like in October. So, yeah, and then you stop and you camp out on the beach, and it's like this big party on the beach. You'll have the Copacabana up there and the alcohol you can buy, and then you can snorkel around and catch your own food from the fishies that are around. And yeah, and a lot of pessimistic people will be like, oh, but if you let people do that, they won't be responsible, and they'll shit right there on the fucking sand. And if you take people's responsibilities away from them, and you, like, for example, if you take people's responsibilities away from them, and you don't let them be responsible for themselves, like you, like at the park, you make this law that you'll get fined $100 if you litter, and or maybe climbing a mountain, you'll get fined $1,000 if you litter, and you have to pay $20 to climb the mountain, because the money goes towards cleaning up the mountain after idiots who don't clean up after themselves. And they're gonna like check your bags or whatever, for like make sure you have the bag to carry your poop out with you or something like that. And then people are gonna get accustomed to not being self-responsible, and then they'll just pay the money for the big daddy government to take care of them and watch over them. Then yeah, if you do it like that, and you have to apply for a special permit to do it, then yeah, people are going to be irresponsible. But if you just kind of like become anarchy, take all the laws away and just let people do it, maybe at the beginning they'll be a little bit irresponsible and poop on the beach. But then after a while, people will just be like, losers do that. Let's not do that. So anyways, got a little bit sidetracked there, but it is part of the video. I mean, I think in the future we all will be like super people. We'll be totally responsible, and we'll be physically fit enough to do it. I think most people right now aren't really physically fit enough to do that, because it would take it could take up to like 24 hours of solid paddling a boat in order to get maybe even just 100 miles across the sea, because like if the waves happen to be going against you, or the wind or something, or maybe even longer than that. But the human body can, if you're in shape, the human body can go solidly for 24 hours just fine. And the way that I have my thing set up, my kayak setup, is that it's for 2 people. So the dude in the front would be paddling his brains out, and then the dude in the back could be sleeping. He's just there to steer it. And he could even lean back. I have a thing where the poles go up and you can just lean back against it and pass out. So then the dudes could take turns paddling. Or the dude in the back could just kind of do like a half paddle just to help a little bit. And you can go. You could be out there for a week paddling all day long, and you could take turns sleeping and it'd be just fine. Besides, the ionization of the water, when the paddles lift up and the water breaks apart and you smell that, it gives you extra energy, and it reduces your appetite, and it does like magical things to your body, and it makes you really strong. Yeah, but like going 24 hours straight is really not that big of a deal. I did a 24-hour mountain bike race back in October. And yeah, man, when I was done with that race, I was looking around and there were other people who finished with me and they were fine. I felt fine. Of course, when I lied down, I passed out pretty easily. Well, I was kind of tired towards the end, but that was only because I couldn't breathe, and I was like, I had the worst asthma attack you could imagine. I was like breathing out of a straw for 7 hours, and that sucked it out of me. But that was only because there was dust, you know. I should have just worn a mask and I would have been fine. And then if there's a dust like on there's no dust in the sea anyways. It's just ionized water. But yeah, the world is a playground. And besides, if more and more people do that, it'd be less and less expensive to get rescued. Right now, it's like $30,000 or something to get rescued. If you pull your thing and you get rescued, because a lot of people were like, "Fuck you." On this forum, these people hated me. My God, they got so pissed off because I was like, yeah, I'm not a kayaker, you know. I just have the kayak, but I'm not. And they're like, no way, you have to like have years and years of experience to do it, and that's the wrong attitude. The world is a playground. You don't have to. We shouldn't look at like people needing to like have years and years of training on something before they're okay enough to do it. There's really only one category, one rule that you should follow, or I can't think of the word right now, but there's only one thing that matters if you can do it or not, and that's if you have the strength, you know, and if you have the materials. You just go out there and you do it. You don't need experience on how to paddle. And I told him, I was like, look, man, if you think you're so fucking badass, you're welcome to try and race me from Key West to Miami. I guarantee I'll kick your ass. I don't care how long you've been kayaking. Because these dudes, they only kayak like, 10 miles. They think that's like a big day, you know. You could get any meathead from the gym to jump in a kayak, and he could kayak for a day straight with just a little bit of training. Like, I was in really bad shape 5 months before I did that bike race, and it was just from riding all day long, you know. And actually, I wasn't even riding that much. I'd ride like a week and then I'd take a week off. And so the human body can do it. People don't realize the human body is really amazing. You just have to do it. The only reason people don't do that stuff is they don't think to do it or something. I don't know what the deal is. But yeah, the world is a playground, and I do. It's a prediction. My idea is like if you have a vision, a crazy vision, what normal people would think is a crazy man's vision. Oh my God, you're fucking crazy. That's not a vision, actually, of like a wannabe vision that's not realistic. It's actually a vision into the future and how it really is. The world and the way we live now is totally different from how it was in the past. Like, beyond fathomable. Carrying these little boxes around where you can check the news and watch movies and talk to each other with video. Free energy machines like the Balloon Box and in San Francisco, and I mean, I could keep going. Just all the cool shit in the world is happening. Planes and all that stuff. Dude, it's not done. We're not done evolving. And the next step of evolution is the party. The next step of evolution is people becoming physically fit and using the world as the nature as an actual playground. Taking rivers down, boats down rivers in Alaska, 1,000-mile down the river. Yay! That's like something that normal people do. Not crazy, not like, we're crazy adventurists, look at us, whoa. And then people are like, wow, you're crazy, you're amazing, oh my God. No. It's more like, yeah, did you do that trip down Alaska? Oh yeah, totally, that was a good one, yeah. How about the kayak trip around the Caribbean? Ooh, that's a doozy. That's like a 6-monther. And that'd be fun. I mean, the kayak trip I think is the coolest one ever. Because it's like, I mean, there's active volcanoes out there. In the Bahamas, the water's only 10 feet deep. So you get to see the formations below. And the color's light blue. You're going to get the big waves out there in the Eastern Antilles. It goes around in a circle, so you're going to have the experience of going against the wind, with your sail. And and it's only 30 to 50 miles, perfect distance between everything. And you get to hang out for like, and party in these nice beaches every day at the end of it. And anyways, the future is that everybody will be doing that, like normal people. Like maybe maybe like 5% of the people from America will have actually done the ultimate kayak trip in one time in their life. It'll be something that people do because we won't have to work as much. We'll live longer. We'll be better multitaskers. So fuck it, you could do your job, whatever your job is, while you're on the freaking kayak. You know, with your phone. Hello, may I help you? Customer service. And you're like way out in the middle of the ocean paddling, you know? Or you're like writing a book while you're out there. Writing a newspaper article, dictating it to your freaking phone that gets connected to your freaking laptop back on the mainland. And that's the way we need to look at it. So when you see these people, because once I heard a guy go, oh man, I hate those magazines like Outside and stuff. You know how like Outside magazines and some of these adventure magazines would be like, the 50th best beaches in the world. The 25 most secluded, beautiful beaches in the world. And some people are like, man, now you're giving away the secret. Now people are going to go there and destroy the beaches and the environment. That's the wrong attitude. We should be advertising, you know, the secret cool party places. I remember back in the 80s, Moab was totally, you go there and there'd be like 2 or 3 people on Slick Rock. And now you have to pay to go to Slick Rock, which I don't think is right. I don't think, that's another video. I don't think we should pay to go to beautiful outdoor places. The reasoning is, oh, the maintenance. But that's what I was saying before. The maintenance should be done by the people who go there. Just because they don't want to see the place get shitty. And if the place does get shitty, then you put signs up that say, please clean after yourself. Look at how it's getting shitty. And if it gets really shitty, people just stop going there. And then it'll get clean again, just naturally. Or by the cool people who go there and clean it up. But to make you pay, that's not right. That should be free to go to those places. Because it's just discouraging people from going there. People shouldn't have to have money for doing that. That's like nature, free. The whole idea about nature is that it's free. Fruits grow out of trees free. Pick it and you eat it. You don't have to pick it and buy it. I think even in Europe it's like that. If you go to a forest grove or something like that, you're totally allowed to pick people's fruit and eat it. But that's what these places should be like. And yeah, but I think it's beautiful out there in Moab. I think Moab now with all the people is better than how it was before, when there were no people there at all. Because now it's like a big party. You go out there and you get to talk to the people out there and you get to watch each other ride. And hell, spandex, dude. You do athletic sports in spandex, and there's probably going to be some girls out there with really nice bodies. You get to watch them and film them, you know. You could make like YouTube videos. I'm sorry, so many possibilities that you could do. Yeah, and yeah, just turn the world into this big playground. And you don't even have to experience it. You don't have to go out there and do the playground to have fun with it. You could go out to like Zion, what's it called, Waco Tanks, and just hang out and party and just watch the people climb the rock, and they can be your entertainment. But that's how we should look at the world. The world is a playground. It's not this dangerous place and you're a total asshole if you want to go out there and do it. Oh no, you're gonna die. And the idea we have about death is fucked up anyway. It's like there was this dude who tried to kayak from Tasmania to New Zealand, which was like 1,000 miles across freezing ocean, and he died. And his setup was just a kayak. It was just like a simple kayak that was it was a tandem kayak, so he had the rest of it like filled up. And one dude actually went from San Francisco to Hawaii, and he made it. But the dude who died, probably, I guess his boat was sinking, and then he like got separated from it, probably because he got cold and lost energy. That just seems crazy to me. But anyways, he died, and all these people are like, what an idiot, he died, what a loser. And it's like, they should look at him as a hero and just be like, yeah, that's a cool thing to do, but just don't do it the way he did it, because that was dangerous. He was just contributing to the whole movement of doing that. And but anyways, people are like, yeah, don't do it or you're gonna fucking die, you're a loser, you're an asshole. It's like, don't, or you're gonna get rescued and we're gonna have to pay our tax money to rescue you. That's the wrong attitude. That's mean. You should let people go out there and try it and encourage them. And if you do have to get rescued, they stick you with the money and you pay them back anyways. There was this girl who she was like the first woman to row across the Atlantic Ocean, named Roz Savage. And then she tried to row from like California to Hawaii or something like that, and she didn't make it because her anchor fell off and she felt like she was going to capsize or something like that. So she got rescued by a helicopter, but then she was going to do it again. Oh, and how about that little girl who capsized off in the Indian Ocean and had to get rescued? And now she wants to do it again, you know? I guess people get rescued, and you're not a dick for getting rescued. At least those girls aren't. Girls, I guess, are treated different there. They need more encouragement, and they need to do it for their like money, for their charities or whatever, to motivate them to do it. And I think that's great. I think, you know, whatever it takes to get the girls out there to do it. But you shouldn't be like a dick to somebody who wants to do that. You know, it's their life that you're doing, and definitely don't make it illegal. Like you have to, you know, regulation and you have to take the course in order to. I've got videos about that with education. You know, you shouldn't have to fucking get a degree in law to be a lawyer. All you should do is pass the freaking bar exam, and then you're a lawyer. You don't have to go to a school and pay $50 million in order to get the certificate that says, oh, I'm a biologist now. Just pass the test, and whatever you do to pass the test. Anyways, getting a little bit sidetracked, but yeah, the world is a playground, dudes. The world is a playground. When we look at a big mountain covered in snow, we shouldn't look at this like nasty, mean thing. Oh my God, nature is hardcore. It'll fuck you up. Nature's not hardcore. It won't fuck you up. You will fuck you up if you go up there in your underwear and you fucking try and camp out up there. You know, I mean, driving your car will fuck you up if you drive into a brick wall at 50 miles an hour. You know, don't look at nature like that. Look at nature like it's your friend. That's what the Indians did. They were like, oh, Mount Shasta, the spirits live on there, spiritual, mystical mountain. Yay, we like it. And those, man, our ancient ancestors were badasses. How about the Vikings who'd row their Viking boats across the freaking North Sea all the way to Iceland and over to Greenland, man? And they were like, yeah, let's go. You know, fuck it. Would we do that? I don't think anybody has ever done it before. Maybe somebody did do it, but I think National Geographic or something like, is it even possible? Like, we've become such freaking pussies. It's ridiculous. Back in the past, I mean, Francis Bacon, there was this English adventurer. And, like, he was a pirate. He'd get around. Once his ship sank in a battle or something, and he was drifting on a piece of the ship, And none of the ship was above water. Like, the highest part of the ship was like 2 or 3 feet below water. With like 6 other dudes for like a week. Until they got like discovered by another buccaneer, you know? And then he kept going at it, you know? I mean, dude, that's how we need to be. Those guys were living large, man. And we can't be like, oh my God, don't do it. You're gonna die. Oh my God, you suck. I'm gonna fucking kill you. Yeah, one dude threatened to come to Boulder and kick my ass. Because I guess I was arguing my point too much. And they called me a piece of shit. I'm gonna attach the thread. It's fucked up, dude. People are pussies, man. The world is a freaking playground. And it's totally safe. Look at it. Look at the mountain like it's smiling at you. Smile at the mountain. Mountain smiles back. And even in the future, this is some more advanced stuff. Just notch this stuff up to more spiritual, mystical. Sharks, dude. I think even the sharks in the future are going to get with the program. And we're going to start emanating. When we all party and we realize that the world is a playground and we all the humans, like, there's this new like level of energy that's going to connect us, all our brains, and make us all this, basically surround humanity as a whole and each human being with this halo of light. And so the shark comes up, and then the shark, because animals know. Animals have a sixth sense about what life is all about. They know what death is. They know what reincarnation is. They can psychically communicate with each other. They know that humans are the guardians of the planet. And they're going to know that more once we actually are the guardians of the planet. And we have that halo around us because we're special, or because we're holy. And a shark's going to come up and he's going to be like, oh, what's up? Oh, that's a human. Yeah. And they're not going to fuck with us. Sharks swim around and they eat fish. They don't eat humans. They only eat humans when the human's like has a bad aura. You know? Not because it's a bad person, but because it's a human and you have human aura. So, yeah, dude. World's a playground, man. World's a playground. So that's kind of the motivation behind my kayak trip and why I made such a big website about that. And I want to do the kayak trip and then motivate other people to do it. Like, give my shit away and for another group to do it. I do need a partner for that, by the way. If you know anybody who's hardcore. Well, I don't mean hardcore, but I mean like, I guess hardcore compared to like your normal loser. You know, like somebody who could jump in my tandem kayak with me and kayak all the way across. How long is that? Like 60 miles or something across the Great Salt Lake without stopping. Just go. And not be one of these people who's like dragging the paddle along the water. Oh, look at the water getting pushed behind the paddle. Well, I'm here going, No, somebody's going to actually help paddle. Somebody knows how to paddle a boat by themselves. That's what I mean by hardcore, you know. But I'll see if Glenn wants to go first, because he was my first choice. But then Tony was like, no way, me. But then he backed out, so. Anyways, I'm going to need a partner for that. I think that might be my goal after I'm done with my timelines in about 3 years. I might do a bike tour after my timeline, and I might actually swim up the Mississippi. There's so many different creative stuff to do, adventure stuff to do, that I haven't really done yet. I'm kind of just limited to bike touring, but you can do it even when you're old. There's a 66-year-old dude who kayaked across the Atlantic Ocean. Katie Spots, you should check out Katie Spots. That chick is awesome. She's really creative. She swam down the Allegheny River like 350 miles in like less than a month. And then she ran across the desert like 200 miles like nonstop because she pushed this little baby carriage with 50 pounds of water in it. And then she rode across the Atlantic Ocean in 70 days, and then she runs like 100 kilometers at once, and she all did that all like before she was like 22. And she even answers her email, dude. I emailed her a couple times asking her those, and she actually answers her email, so that's pretty fucking hardcore. Yeah, dude, so like creative stuff. There's all kinds of cool creative stuff. Oh yeah, I was gonna swim up the Mississippi. How about that? Swim all the way up the Mississippi with your fins and your paddles, and all by yourself, not with help. And you bring a backpack. You just put your backpack on, put your sleeping bag in there, and you swim up it. That seems like a cheap thing to do. So yeah, possibilities. So many cool possibilities of what you can do. And now, when we're gonna be really strong a lot later in life too. We're going to be able to run marathons when we're 90 pretty soon, because we're going to figure out diet. We're going to start infusing, fortifying food with proper nutrients, MSM, vitamin C. I guess MSM and vitamin C are the two things you really need to keep up with, and a lot of the other stuff, in order to keep the nutrients coming, packed in your body. It's kind of like, if you go too long with not eating enough nutrients, then the nutrients don't get in, and then you develop these big pockets, like osteoporosis, these big holes in your bones that are just these empty holes because there were no nutrients to fill them up. And then now that you're eating the nutrients, it can't get in there because it can't permeate. You know, it's kind of like if somebody's growing and they're not eating enough nutrients while they're growing, and then they hit 18 years old and they're done growing, and then they start eating well, it's too late because their body was done growing, sort of like that. So in the future, we're going to be keeping the nutrients going day by day, day after day. And if you keep all the nutrients hitting you day after day, every day, and of course with technology, with reversing osteoporosis, you know, with better nutrients and surgeries and stuff to fix bodies, we're going to be able to live so long, man. New grown organs. And it's a little bit of frightening because, like, maybe only the rich people will be able to do that, but still, we're all going to be able to kick it until we're old, man. Ned Overend, dude, I saw in a magazine yesterday. Can't remember what magazine. 55 years old. He just won the Iron Horse Mountain bike race. It's like one of the biggest bike races. 55 years old. That was unheard of 20 years ago. I remember when, in the 80s, if you were 30, you were too old and you had to retire. You know, the greatest bike racer ever, Eddie Merckx, he was done. He was getting his ass kicked by the time he was 29. You know, now a lot of the favorites in the Tour de France are older than me. They're like 37, 38 years old. Or 37 anyways. A little bit older than me. So, yeah. Whoa! I think I'm out of time. This thing can't be bigger than 2 minutes. So, yeah, 2 gigs. So, yeah. Fucking world is my fucking playground, motherfucker. You best fucking realize. Plus, if everybody's totally fit, and I keep mentioning this over and over again, but if everybody's totally fit and they're all out there exercising, that means women. Because half the people in the world are women. You know what that fucking means? Imagine if all the women were hot. Like, check this out. There's a woman around here? I don't see any women, but she's probably like her. Fat, ugly lady. There's no reason for that, man. They should all be hot as fuck with spandex. I mean, imagine that. Well, here, let's film this bitch. Actually, fuck it. I'm out of time, dude, but you get my point, man.